Hello, everyone, to the monthly technical steering committee of the open source project EVerest. We have quite some packed news for you as every week. Highlights are megawatt charging is finally there in EVerest or getting merged the next days. The Bellmütte contributed power meter drivers. The framework got quite some improvement. We also have quite some juicy feedback from Nordic EV Summit. If you watch this as a recording, you can just click down in the sections and jump to different chapters of this recording. But before we dive into it, there might be competitors here in the room, so we have to show this antitrust policy note. So please behave. And yeah, then let's get started. What's new on EVerest? We added a couple of new companies to this list who publicly supporting EVerest. This is S-Charge from India, Content. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. I think they're also from India. And Siemens recently posted on LinkedIn about the EVerest-based bidirectional DC charger. So happy that that happened. And you can be for sure there's tons of those things happening behind NDAs. And if you want to be listed here, if you know of any other projects, please give us a ping. We're happy to list them here. And then also on this development kits and controller list, that nothing changed here so far. So can you review that if you like. Quick recap of what happened in the last weeks. Couple of folks have been in the Nordic EV Summit in Oslo. That was super interesting to see how the industry is celebrated themselves, what happened around EV charging. And Norway is now going with 100% EV mandate for new car sales. And this is really an amazing vibe over there. And I think the most important takeaways for me have been that I talked to a lot of the European top 5, top 10 charger vendors, and quite a few of them are now going on EVerest-based architectures, or let's say Linux-based architectures. And some of them even will go all in on EVerest, will be announced soon or the next months. And because they realized it's just too much cost overhead and engineering cost, even if you build hundreds of thousands of chargers a year to maintain and update and keep fresh a microcontroller-based software stack. That was interesting to see. So then next topic is we saw that quite a few of companies going on bidirectional charging, even those companies who only do DC fast charging solution. So the one you would least expect it, even they're going bidirectional. And then reliability and cybersecurity was an ominous topic you saw everywhere there. And I think also there's open source community, we can help those folks. Let's go on the next chapter, EV charging special interest group. Rod, you want to take it?
Yep. Very good call yesterday. So it was the day before the technical steering committee. I think biggest news there is Citrino has finally released the 1.6 release, so bringing 1.6 support. So they're also like, okay, what's next for us? So next thing for them on the roadmap is also OSP 2.1. So also looking forward to getting Citrino S on OSP 2.1. We at the Argonne National Lab presenting one of their projects again. So I have this open source project called SIP.io Link. SIP.io is a little bit older project that they did years ago, and then IO Link is one of the newer projects, which is a local CPMS, something you can is really targeted to run locally on site to do energy management. It's Node-RED based, probably not something for production, but super cool for just playing around with energy management. You can easily build charging schedules with Node-RED or some balancing algorithms. It's already open source. Then I will look investigating on what they want to do with this, if they will also bring this into LF Energy, or they want to keep it on their own, but they do want to build a community around it. So I also advise them to have a chat with Linux Foundation, because that might help them bring that into more of a bigger community. So yeah, it was a good call. Are you muted, Marco?
Yeah, I think you're muted.
So we also had some good calls today, still under NDA of a couple of vendors who will go all in on Everestify their components and also open source around that. Yeah, we'll let you know when it's more public. And maybe, by the way, Robert, I think you had some audio problems, so maybe you want to reconnect before you speak again. Was still okay-ish. So let's go on. Grid integration energy management working group. Pete, you want to take this?
Yeah, I can cover that one. So we're getting closer to the bidirectional charging support in OSPP 2.1 and also ISO 15118. So some PRs have been merged on the OSPP 2.1 side. The foundation of that is the implementation of set points in the energy management module and algorithm. And we have also started working on the BPT integration in the EVSE manager, which is a rather small, like the smaller part compared to what we need to do in OSPP 2.1 and ISO. But now we are at the state where we really just need to put things together and test and add also some end-to-end tests for it. Because unfortunately, there are not yet that many cars that we can actually use and test with. So we plan to add quite some testing in our software in the loop environment for it. The open ADR pull requests still listed here. We're still waiting for some feedback, and then we will get back and continue to work on that. And I also listed that ChargePyte is currently working on the energy management JSON RPC API. At least I could see that there were quite some activities on a branch where this is currently added.
Thanks a lot. Let's go to cloud communication.
Yeah. Right. Today we released v026.1. And you can check out the release notes for it. A quick summary is listed here on this slide. One bigger thing that we changed is that in EVerest we added a new library called EVerest SQLite, which is a small wrapper around SQLite 3 that was so far integrated in libOCPP, that wrapper, but we now also use it in other parts, and then it just made sense to extract it and put it into a library. There have been some plug and charge improvements for the certification that Pionix is currently doing with Hubject for plug and charge. Yeah, also the set charge and get composite schedule PRs are listed here again. And there had been some improvements for 1.6 reservations with rather complicated setups with multiple connectors and some reservation edge cases that went in. And now we continue to work on the OSPP side, more on 2.1 again, and focus on the bidirectional power transfer use cases.
Thanks a lot. On the car communication side of things.
You're muted, Boris.
Sorry about that. I'll take this. There were some further fixes for the Yeti simulator, which we've been mentioning recently. Then in the, let's say, old EVSE V2G module covering the ISO-2 and the DIN, some now outdated code was removed, notably embed TLS after we switched to OpenSSL, and some better functionality in there for certificate handling and TLS handling and everything. So dropped embed TLS completely, and a lot of dead and unused code was finally removed. So middle-sized cleanup of that module. Most of the work has been happening in the lib ISO 15118. We've heard some stuff about the bidirectional. We got back to that. On the EV side, the conversions for the various message types, there are a lot of pull requests going on for the various messages, including a lot of tests as well, test cases, and then some further fixes in there. And as you heard, so the EV side implementation is still ongoing as a complete project here to bring -20 to the EV side and -2 as well. And speaking about all this, let's skip on to the MCS, which is tightly related. There was a little bit of work done in the EVerest core and the EVSE manager using the service IDs. The main work was in the libiso again, which is the two pull requests mentioned below, or the first one of those, the stuff around the MCS definitions in the amendment. So notably the services, the special services which are reserved for that, and a lot of code around that. The other extension, that repo you're seeing, the X-Switch EV, that's the Joseph code, which is used only in simulation, but of course required as long as we don't have vehicles to produce messages like these. That as soon as everything is coded in C++, that will also most likely drop away. The same opens basically as we had 1 month ago. Still some documentation needed, and last not least, still some real life testing. So the EVerest side hasn't gotten so much testing yet. That will happen in the next few months, basically. And there's also
to be precisely testing on the megawatt charging side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at ChargeBot, we're waiting for the actual hardware to get set up to do some testing with real hardware. Right now, it's a lot of simulations and just high-level stuff, but nothing much happening right now. Okay, and the working group currently meeting every 2 weeks. Doesn't seem to. There's not so much traction right now, content-wise, so that might be extended. That cyclist.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot. So let's go on to general. Manuel, you want to take that?
Yes, I can take this one. Just a short summary of what we have been talking about, the working group rearrangements in the last weeks. Just to stress that out, we didn't change the time slots of the working groups. So the most working groups will stay as they are, as we had them. You already have seen the summaries of the working groups before. One exception was the Framework Infrastructure and Tools working group that has been cancelled due to low attendance or no attendance. And what we have now new is, formerly we had this general call every 2 weeks. Now we have a general welcome call for the community. So we have that at the 11 a.m. European time slot. But additionally, we will have now a monthly US-friendly time slot at 5 p.m. European time. That should be West Coast US 8 a.m., if I'm correct. Yeah, and if anybody has some need to have additional welcome calls, we always can set them time slots that are convenient for people. Doing a review of the last welcome calls, we now have had them for several weeks now. We have had 0 to 2 attendees, which is not that bad because that are new people for the EVerest community coming in. And we see that regularly, and probably not everyone attends the welcome calls. So to summarize, we will have new community members in the upcoming weeks and months still incoming to EVerest. That's a great thing, I guess.
Thanks a lot. And also just to note, yes, we canceled this Framework Infrastructure Tools work group, but as soon as we see in Zulip chat or in the general discussion or on the mailing list need for that, we can always jump back on ad hoc calls. So the idea is, if there's any cross-company collaboration needed on any of those topics, we will just spawn new meetings to get in sync. On the VMT team, nothing to report, which is great. I think the security audit is already undergoing. Pete, can you report anything on that?
I think the kickoff has not yet happened, but I think it's at least scheduled.
Yeah. So reminder for those who haven't seen the previous recording, there's a from the Linux Foundation, energy sponsored, so neutral, bug hunting company doing penetration testing on Everest and reviewing it. So really curious what comes out of that. The audit, as we said, will happen. So next monthly release, we're now on a so-called consolidated release, which happens only every 3 months, where we try to tie things together. I think calling it stable is a bit overrated because they're also there, for sure, things moving on, but we're not backporting any patches way beyond the stabilization point in time. And this is the release. And Pete, you want to walk through?
Sure. The release candidate 1 has been published, I think, today by Kai. So feel free to use it and test with it. So now the feature freeze window started. A few highlights are definitely the power meter driver that was contributed by Isabel Hütte for the IEM ECR. There had been quite some changes around plug and charge and OSPP and the EVSE manager to make this more flexible and configurable at runtime. We can see a couple of bug fixes here. We removed all remaining JavaScript modules from Everest core, so that we can now finally drop the support for JavaScript in Everest, which is nice. And I guess these are the most relevant points on that list. Of course, you can also check out the full release notes in Everest core on GitHub.
Thanks a lot. So let's go on. What's next? On the roadmap section, Pete, I think you did some slight updates on that because 1 quarter is over.
Yes, at least for the cloud working group. I also added like the check marks here for the 2.1 core support that has been added, and smart charging still not completely done, but the biggest parts with K01 and K08 are done. What has been added here is that the deep device model integration. So we're currently working on the Everest framework side also a little bit to become more flexible on the Everest framework side to be able to do runtime configuration and automatic reporting of the device model. And of course, we are still working on the BPT support as well in Q2. And then we will continue until the end of the year with other parts and functional blocks from 2.1. So resuming transactions, EMS support, and some more advanced 2.1 bidirectional stuff like frequency control and TR control. But we rather do that towards the end of the year.
So let's move on ISO. I think you have not updated that, but you want to talk over it a bit?
So Q1 is still on here, but the port resume for this we already have a pull request, and also the -20 EC set point is something that we are almost done with. And then I also already mentioned we have these overlaps between ISO, the energy management, and OSPP at the moment. So the goal is to bring all of that together in Q2, and we have already started with the foundation for it. And then towards the end of the year, look into more advanced things of ISO 15118-20, and also some things are left in -2 that are not really used by EVs at the moment. And this will also depend or like influence how much priority this is going to have for us, and when we tackle those issues.
On the GBT item here, I think we got yesterday confirmation that there is now an open source version of that. Unfortunately, so far it's behind the Great Firewall, but we will get access. And now we have to figure out who and when is starting to integrate that and how to do it precisely. There is some Linux or how to Linux integration notes on this library for the GPT communication. And yeah, this is also now getting started in a way. But we are super happy and curious whoever want to join on that. Energy management, anything to add from your side?
I think I mentioned the most relevant parts for the bidirectional stuff that we're working on the OSPP and ISO side. And then EBus, there's a pull request currently open for the basic support of the basic use case. And it's currently in review. And yeah, also ChargeByte, I mentioned that, is currently working on the external EMS API module. Not sure, Moritz, if you have a timeline for that or know a little bit more about this.
Yes, the timeline is pretty soon now, as usual.
Okay.
So we're hoping to complete the basic structure of that within the next 4 weeks. I would say definitely in this quarter. There's a lot of side details which need to be cleaned up later, and some stuff which may have been specified a bit incorrectly, or we might need a bump of the API version, but the basic infrastructure is coming along quite well.
Okay. Right, and then OpenADR, there's also the PR open for that, so we try to continue working on that, and then also depending on the integration of EBus, we will maybe add more use cases to that in the future, and probably also have a look at things like Matter.
Yeah, I think on Matter, also one feedback I brought from one really big company from the Nordic EV Summit, that they're seriously looking into building that into their IC chargers they built, and they built a lot. And I think also here, Matter has quite a good library out there. EVerest is ready for consuming different kind of energy management protocols. So tying that together shouldn't be too much work. And if you find voluntaries, here we go, just contact us. Next one, there's more things like different drivers coming from different edges. Let's not go into details here. Upcoming events. One thing I would love to highlight is that on the Power to Drive, in 2 weeks from now, we will have a EVerest Stammtisch or EVerest Gathering community event. No slides, no suits, except if you really, really have to, because you just come from the trade show. And it's all around sharing your knowledge, exchanging ideas, meeting finally face-to-face. We are reserved quite a few seats in a beer garden. It's free, join us, would be nice. And in similar manner, reminding that we will be on the on the EVS-38 in Göteborg in Sweden. 16th to 17th, 18th of June, there will be a hackathon. First of all, it's quite a nice hack to get cheap into EVS-38. If you're a student, don't want to afford an expensive EVS ticket. All you have to do is spend some time with other cool people and hack something interesting around EV charging. There will be different mentors from different companies and teams. For example, Pete will be there to help you all around EV charging in EVerest, but there will be also representatives of different organizations from probably Open Charge Alliance, Hubject, Irdeto, and many more. And if you are a company and you want to send a mentor, I guess EVS will be happy to take you into account. Please reach out, and I can also help to establish a link there. Overview of other events. I mentioned Power to Drive. There is also 1 week later in Detroit, a Charn Test Development Conference. And there is a workshop around EV charging and also EVerest, where Linux Foundation and NREL are representing this. In parallel, I will be in Stuttgart on the electric vehicle conference. Oh, that's listed twice here. I'm sorry. EVS 38, I just mentioned that. Hackathon, big trade show, a lot of conference talks. Then there's in summer hacker camping. We'll have an own EV charging village, as we had on the last 2 big hacker campings. Was quite fun. Maybe there's still tickets. If you wonder how to spend the summer, that's definitely an option. And then we will see each other at ICNC. And we also, just from Phoenix side, submitted a talk on the LF Energy Summit, and also others are highly welcome there. If you have any other events where anything around EVerest is present, please list us. Please contact us. We're happy to list this here. And then, if there's nothing else, let's meet again on the next Technical Steering Committee, 22nd of May, same time as always. You can find this on the recording. You'll find the slides here on the mailing list. Yeah, thanks a lot, and let's stop the recording.